Mr. Max Hyde is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You see why I'm leaving now? I have to support all these people, make a little money. Today, my heart is filled with gratitude. Gratitude for my Lord, gratitude for my family, and their unfailing patience. My beautiful and steadfast bride, Eliza, our wonderful children, Lily Ruth, Thomas, Rose, Annabelle. I'm so proud of each of you. My parents who paved the path, my mother, Alicia Fusel, my dad, Big Max, watching on the video. Gratitude for my faithful supporters and the people of District 32 in Spartanburg County. Gratitude for my terrific team at Hyde Law Firm for making it possible for me to come down here 3 days a week for 6 years. Gratitude for Speaker Merle Smith, Speaker Pro Tem Tommy Pope, and all staff, especially Charles Reed and team, Bubba Cromer, Mitch Dorman and associates. In particular, my fellow Wildcat Chairman Bruce Bannister, my seatmate, Representative Travis Moore, the Spartanburg delegation, and dear Sandra Selman, the iconic legislative aide, just underwent double bypass surgery and she's watching on the video. Indeed, gratitude for each of you. What I'm going to miss most is the deep level of friendship and fellowship that we all have shared together. We are all here in the people's house because we love God, our country, the great state of South Carolina. We are all here fundamentally because we want to serve others. I have learned a lot during my time in the House. I have learned that you have to wear a tie, but you do not have to wear socks. Mr. Bretton, I have learned if I did not have ADD before I got here, I have it now. You know, listening to Todd Rutherford, and more generally, listening to Bill debate, you know, while someone comes to talk to you, while you're reading a text, 2 sets of emails, and taking a call, and then receiving a talking ticket from our friendly sergeants when what we're supposed to be doing here is talking. And I say that with love. I have learned a lot about different parts of the state. Places like Pomeria, or as I like to call it, Po Maria. She's so po, she ain't got no money. I would usually call my wife from the Po Maria stretch of I-26 after emerging successfully from the death chutes to let her know I'd be home in about an hour. That's about right, isn't it, Eliza? Most importantly, I have learned to appreciate more fully my many blessings, and I count them today. To be brutally honest, when I started in politics, I was more concerned with myself. I wanted to be the youngest this and the youngest that. Now I'm just glad to be alive. Through the years, I have gained more appreciation for our common struggle and for the perspective of others. And I have learned that joy comes from living into and embracing that struggle. I now realize we know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose, as Paul wrote in Romans 8:28. I've also learned that you cannot take yourself too seriously, Jeff Johnson. You know, when I was growing up, Some people said I look like Jason Bateman or Christian Laettner, the Duke basketball player, which I hate Duke basketball, so that was doubly insulting. But now, at age 50, people say that I look like a local newscaster who has trouble staying on the Atkins diet. And for those of you in upstate, you know what I'm talking about, perhaps, on Channel 7. So, I do hope in these 6 years, and I've been here long enough now to see the State House dome turn green again, that I have been part of some good efforts that help other people. I did, Robert, run over a state senator at the softball game last year on my way to first base, and I will count that as an accomplishment. Maybe there were some other things. I do have a bit of concern about the state of play in our current politics. Nothing we cannot surmount. We have broad and deep tensions in the country. The root causes lie in economic dislocation, racial division, rural and urban distinction, and generational disconnect. A lot of people feel left out or left behind. A lot of people are angry. All of this paradoxically in the midst of incredible economic growth and prosperity in certain sectors. These causes manifest in myriad ways: political extremism, the erosion of public trust in our institutions, brokenness. But there is hope. When I was in college, I read the poem written in 1919 after the First World War by W.B. Yeats, entitled The Second Coming, which states, "The center cannot hold." I did not understand what that meant then. I do now. Over 100 years later, we ask, can the center hold? While some of the current tensions may seem novel, they are in some ways as old as the world. There is nothing new under the sun, the teacher proclaims in Ecclesiastes. Well, here's what else is not new: truth, reason, the rule of law, civility, virtue, duty, courage. And these things are never out of style. In preserving our country, let us not fracture its very foundation. So, it has been a most marvelous education here at the house. You may know I like some music. So I thought it might be in order to describe my experience in the house by citing some song lyrics for you. The first lyrics that came to mind were, of course, clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, here I am stuck in the middle with you. But then I thought, Gilda, I can't say that, that's too rough. And then there's George Jones. I love some George Jones. Speaking of farewell tours, if you're a George Jones fan, you may know he had a lot of last tours. Speaking of farewell tours, that was when he was not driving his riding lawnmower to the liquor store in Nashville because his wife had hidden his car keys. My mother, my brother Warner, and I actually had tickets to one of these last tours in Spartanburg at the Memorial Auditorium, but then George Jones did die, so we did not go. In any event, I love his song Choices. I've had choices since the day that I was born. There were voices that told me right from wrong. If I had listened, I wouldn't be here today. Living and dying was the choices I've made. And of course, there's Nellie. Hot in here. Y'all know I was a member of the Sweat Caucus, Patrick Dennis. Speaker Lucas told me to wear thin socks. You sweat so much, Max. It's getting hot in here, so hot. Can I get a little bit of? Don't worry, I'm not going to take my clothes off. How about that, Wendell? Is that all right? On a more serious note, One song truly captures my love, my deep love for the house, for this institution, for each of you, and the work we all strive mightily to do every day. If I can help somebody, the most famous version is by the great Mahalia Jackson. Did you know that on a hot day in August 1963 at the Lincoln Memorial, she said to her friend Dr. Martin Luther King, "Tell them about the dream, Martin." It was then that he abandoned his prepared speech and soared into the stanzas we remember well. And so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. And so here are some of the lyrics of the song I most wish to share with you. Dr. King loved this hymn and cited it in one of his last sermons, and I will too. If I can help somebody as I travel along, if I can help somebody with a word or a song, if I can help somebody from doing wrong, no, my living shall not be in vain. No, my living shall not be in vain. No, my living shall not be in vain. If I can help somebody while I'm singing this song, you know my living shall not be in vain. Hyde out.